Right. Hello, everybody. How are we doing? Well, it's good to be back. I might be joined later by some people. At the moment, it's just me. I am the Spaniard, and I'm happy to be back here on the dojo stream with the new hero, Medjay. So, I guess let's jump in. I ought to probably put myself on streamer mode so I don't get all pings from people. Right. Yeah, okay. Medjay, the Medjay Hero. Medjay, that's why we're all here. An Egyptian wanderer come to Heathmore to protect us from the curse of the Scarab Bracelet or something along those lines. Shall we get into the training menu? Stag. Oh, and Freezer's here as well. Hello.
Hello.
How you doing today, man?
Yeah, I'm getting tired, but doing fine.
Yeah, me too. Sorry, things a little bit more. I mean, things are always a little bit scattered and what's the phrase I'm looking for here? A little bit ad hoc and stuff on the dojo, but even more so today because I just had a nap and then woke up. And I was like, oh, I said I'd do the dojo in like 5 minutes, so better do that. All right. So Stag is here running the broadcast, but he's not going to be talking because he's busy with he's far away. But let us jump into the. Oh, of course, the Doi. I'm the one running the map. Everything's back. Welcome back to the dojo, everybody. Nice professional environment, highly sensible, etc., etc. Yeah. Right. Yeah. All right, let me get Twitch chat open so I can see what you guys are what you're all talking about. Pop open chat out of a new window. Oh, that's always its own little thing. All right, so what we're going to do today is we're going to go over like some of the basic stuff, the Medjay's moveset, and then we are going to cover some like the feats and things, and then we'll talk a bit about what he's good at, what he's not good at, where we think the character's going to be sorry, what's the phrase I'm looking for here? Where he's going to end up in the meta and things like that. I'll see if can't remember if is Normie around as well. See if Normie's going to come in.
He is in the VC, but I'm not. Don't know whether he's up for it. I can ping the two.
Yeah, well, I would have done a bit more organisation, except that I was asleep. So that's how it is. All right, the Medjay. The main thing about the Medjay, which I'm sure you all know by now, is that he's not just one hero. He's two heroes in one because he can split his double-ended staff. I guess you'd call it a fan axe into two double axes, and he has a different moveset in each of them. Although, if you are learning the character, something that's very handy is that for every move he has in the axe stance, he has a similar move in the staff stance, and vice versa. They're exactly the same. So you can always be sure that the buttons you're going to be pressing will do something. So yeah. What are his moves? We'll start off in staff stance, and he has an infinite alternating light and heavy chain, much like Berserker and Shaolin. So you can go between his chain left and chain heavies and chain lights. If you do 2, like Shaolin, if you do 2 lights in a row or 2 heavies in a row, that will end your chain. And you can do that at any point within the chain. So if you're going like light, heavy, 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 then you'll do 2 heavies, and then you'll finish your thing. As you can see, his staff moves are very slow on the heavies, but they all have hyper armor. And if you throw the light into my block, you also see that the chain lights are also enhanced. Yeah, it's like heavy, light, yeah. Alright. As well as the basic attacks, he has dodge heavies, so you can go 4 dodge heavy. Just good roll catching, and a side dodge heavy. Again, both of those lead into his chains, so they count as heavies, and then you can go into a heavy finisher or into a chain light. And like many characters nowadays, he also can chain off his zone, so his zone counts as an opener as well, and has the same chaining rules. The last thing in his moveset is he has a 4 dodge bash, which in staff mode is very slow. It's basically your Demon Embrace equivalent. It does 20 damage, and it does also chain on hit into the chain attack, so into lights and heavies, but both a chain version, so it doesn't end chains. You just carry on chaining it to whatever you want to. So yeah, that's the moveset in staff form. But if you split, you can do pretty much exactly the same things in axe form. So again, alternating light and heavy chain. You'll see that his alternate, you'll see that the lights, the chain lights are quite fast. They're 400 ms lights. So you go like, oh, those are the light finishers. So yeah, so if you like heavy light, those second lights are going to be quite fast. I think, though, the chain link on them is quite slow, and I'm not sure if I can dodge them after it. Throw a heavy at me, and then I'll try and dodge the chain.
You can dodge.
You can't.
Heavy into light, you can dodge the light.
Oh, you can? Okay.
Yes, you can.
Maybe I'm just being slow. I don't know. I feel like I'm not being able to dodge them here, but...
I wasn't the access build.
I think, what was it? So the heavies that you can dodge are after the dodge heavies or the four dodge heavies or the zone, which both have light hits done. So if you throw like a dodge heavy into a light, then I can dodge that. But I don't think after the regular heavies you can dodge them. You see your stamina on regen, people can see how much the stamina cost is, by the way. Nice. So yeah, likewise he has dodge heavies that chain starts. He has, and he also has his bash is much faster. So it's basically Conqueror type bash. It has 100 ms to 5 ms startup, and you can use it in chains after a light attack, which is the same as the slower one in chains from the stuff stance as well. So that's his main chain mix-up, is basically after a light, you can do the bash. Or you can feint it heavy into a guard break, which will catch dodges, or feint to parry a dodge attack. It's not a bash blue mix-up, but it is, that's your main chain mix-up, and then when you have landed a heavy, you can go into your unblockable. So it can be a bit challenging to reach your unblockable, I find, but not too bad if you get into it, especially from a zone attack. So something that's quite nice to do is if after a light into it, if you light and bash, oh, you can words. So what doesn't in that mix up with the light bash after light, you can bash or you can heavy. And I find that whilst you can early dodge a heavy, if you feint that heavy into a zone attack, that catches most early dodges. So if you go light and then heavy feint zone attack, that will catch a dodge if it's the guards on the other side. Oh, yeah, I forgot. His guard goes the same direction as you dodge. I'll dodge the other direction. And then you can chain from that into your unblockable, if that was how you want to get into the unblockable mix-up. Because, yeah, his heavies themselves have pretty poor tracking, so I can always early dodge a heavy, which is a bit disappointing. You'd think that he'd be like Lawbringer, and that an early dodge, the heavies will catch an early dodge, but that doesn't seem to be the case. I don't know if they maybe they had undodgeable on him, and then they decided to get rid of it because some reason. But it's like it does seem a bit of an incomplete mix-up, considering how they've been using a lot of orange-blue mix-ups. Have been they've added a lot of orange-blue mix-ups to the game, and it's a little bit unusual to see one that doesn't really. Well, it's a 5-minus bash, but it doesn't really work. All right, Normie's not going to come and join us. That's all right. So the other things that he can do in his moveset are, after every attack, he can recovery cancel into the stance switch. So you can either stance switch from normal, or you can attack and then recovery cancel. Unfortunately, when you are switching stance, it's quite slow. Even as a recovery cancel, and you pretty much have the same. I mean, the recovery on it is not far off just finishing a chain. So if you were to light attack and then try and recovery cancel into a light attack, you don't have frame advantage there. So you can go ahead. So and as you can see, you don't have any guard, so you're quite vulnerable when you switch stance, and it applies to both of them. You do have frame advantage into a light if you've landed a heavy and then do a guard switch. So yeah, stance switching after a landed heavy will give you frame advantage, and I think it also works on a blocked heavy as well. I'm not 100% sure on that. Well, try that. Oh no, really? Okay, so only landed heavies. Yeah, strange that it's so much different.
It's probably once again that whiffs count as this, I don't know, this weird recovery wise, you know.
Yeah.
Just adding that 100 ms or whatever it is there.
Oh, you can also do the. I wonder if you. I mean, I don't know if you'll be able to do this stag. It's a bit of a weird input, and I've not tried it myself yet. I wonder if you can do the. Well, we'll talk about the different stance switches you can do. You can obviously stance switch as a recovery cancel. You can stance switch from neutral. You can also stance switch after a parry, which allows you to change the punishes that you get. So if you go into axe stance now, stag, and I throw a heavy, you can stance switch and then do your zone attack, and that should land on me. Oops, sorry. If you switch again, I mean, yeah, nicely done. And that allows you to get a side heavy off a light parry, even if you're in axe stance. Because as you can see, the neutral heavies and axe stance, they only do 23 damage. Oh, you don't want your put your health on regen, then we can, instead of off, and then you can see the damage values. Whereas the heavies in staff stance do 24 on the top and 27 on the sides. So if you're in axe stance and you get a light parry, so I'm going to throw a top light for you, you can stance switch into a side heavy to get the most damage. Yeah, the movements are. You want to just feint into light to do it, or no? I'll just throw it.
those boomer reactions.
There we go. Oh, well, that was the zone. Almost. The input is quite tricky for landing a side heavy off a light parry.
Yeah, it's just something we've never done, right?
Yeah.
Nobody
I mean,
has the muscle memory.
I'll feint into light, so it's an easier input for you, Stag. There we go, nice one. So that switch there is 400 ms, 466 ms, so you can switch faster after a parry. But unfortunately, you're stuck doing the normal switch when you're in a regular. Even the recovery cancels, which is a bit of a shame. But you can switch faster by unlocking and relocking. Where's my unlock button? So you can go into. You can also, if you unlock and relock quickly, you can go into staff stance, and that will let you. And I think also you can switch faster after relocking as well into axe mode. But I haven't timed that as well. But I think it's also faster. I wonder if that allows you to, if you're in axe stance and you throw a light and then unlock, relock, and throw a light as well, if that will give you frame advantage. I mean, I kind of doubt it, but so yeah, you want to unlock and relock to go into the staff mode quickly. Ah, no. Well, that's fair enough. It's going to be risky to do that staff switch, the staff switch via unlocking when you're in Holy War anyway, because you
can't just spam the unlock relock button. Doesn't work.
Yeah.
You just need to wait a little bit, and then you have whatever timing.
Yeah, so it's tricky to do, and probably not. So you probably don't want to be using. I've changed all my controls over. For instance, I was on the Warrior's Den, which is now. So if I randomly start rolling around, it's because I'm trying to lock on with a thing that's not normally my lock on button. Oh well, silly sausage. All right, I think. And is that kind of it for his moveset? The issue.
I mean, you still have the big bash.
Yeah, we can show. We'll talk some like gank setups in a moment. I think.
No, just that it's available, I guess.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. You can do that after just with a regular guard break input after a light, same as you can with the axe mode, and do this light as well.
Yeah, like you said before, it's exactly the same. Forward dodge GB for this one, and in chain after a light, exactly like the bash and axe mode. It's the exact same button setup.
There are a few. I guess whilst we're here, we can talk punishes. I think I'll do them because I know which ones they are. Stag. Obviously, when you are in axe mode, your heavies do less damage. But you can't switch quickly after a guard break. Unsurprisingly, because that would just do the throw input, wouldn't it?
Yeah, you just throw backwards.
So when you get a guard break punish, it's always going to be the same depending on which stance you're in. So you get a side heavy, well, you get any heavy with an axe, but with the staff, you only get a top heavy because the side ones are slower. It's like Warlord. You can block sides there we go. As for heavy parry punishes, the most damage you can get is a zone. In staff stance, just 14 damage. If you're an axe stance, the zone only does 11 damage, but it can chain into your unblockable finishes. So that maybe a better one. The lights will do 12 damage as kind of standard. Something you also you can get from a heavy parry. So go on, throw me a heavy. Wow, I'm great. You can get a bash, which is useful for ledging people. but does less damage because the light after only does 9 damage as a chain light. So that's useful. Heavy parry punish as a for light parry punishes in staff stance. You can get the slow bash off if you feint and throw me a top light. Oh yeah, you could do a chain light as well, I guess. So that's guaranteed off a light parry. It's less damage, but it is also a gank. It's clearly a ganking move, so that can be useful. You can also get it off throws if you're in staff stance. The throw distance isn't massive on him. He's got like okay forward throw distances. But you
so you did it on the wall splat. That's
yeah,
nice.
yeah.
I thought you'd bounce, to be honest.
Yeah, it seems quite consistent when I tried it earlier. Let's just try a back throw.
Oh, good.
Obviously, only really possible in axe mode. I don't think you can get it in staff mode. I don't think you can get it in axe mode. As for the out stamina punishes, well, we're still working on them. But the parry ones are quite straightforward. You always want to switch stance, and you can get heavy into heavy, like Berserker. And if you do the go on, throw me a parry again. You can always switch stance to get it as well. Then from a throw in axe stance, you can also get heavy into heavy, I think. Yeah, I don't think it depends which direction you throw. We are exploring this together because I haven't. There we go. So heavy into heavy on axe stance, and then in staff stance, I think you pretty much get zone into heavy. And I'm not 100% sure if that is safe or not. I can't quite remember. I think on a parry it's not. Stick your stamina on a regen and on regular, and then just feint until you put yourself out of stamina.
It does look unsafe.
Oh yeah, and then try and guard break after the punish. Okay, that is safe. I'll try from the throw.
Oh, interesting.
I think it's unsafe if you delay.
Looks like you hit armor, right?
Pardon?
Looks like it's unsafe. I mean, if Clutch says it, why bother with anybody else, right?
This is true. Bye-bye. I mean, he's not great. I won't lie. It's not particularly good hero on paper. In axes, he's okay in 1v1s. Be better if his mix-up worked very well, but it doesn't. And in team fights, you have your staff mode, which is clearly it's meant for that. It has amazing hitboxes, but is rather lacking in openers because you only have like your regular light attacks and heavy attacks as openers and your dodge attacks. Something which, to illustrate how problematic this guy's lack of offense is, if you switch to stag, you switch to axe mode, and I'm going to throw a. You can block a top heavy, and then I will throw a light attack, and you just parry on the light timing. Right, carry on doing that, and I will demonstrate. Yeah, basically, because your heavy is so slow, if you parry on light timing and feint, at least against guy in an axe stance. It was working earlier. You try. You to heavy and then feint, and don't let your heavy go. Yeah, there we go. So an early parry lets you parry the lights, and you won't get hit by the heavy because you can feint a block, and also because of that, your counter guard break will bounce as well. your guard break will feint to guard break will bounce as well. So yeah, in staff mode, you really don't have any offense against a character with 700 MS neutral heavies. That is only this guy in axe mode. If you go into staff mode again, because in staff mode your heavies are slower, and this is the case for most characters, that no longer works off blocked heavies. So if you do the same, we do the same thing, you won't be able to feint in time. But after a light attack, that does change. So I'll do a top light, and then I'll do side lights and switch top. Oh, wrong one. Sorry. So you can feint and block that heavy. There you go. So if you have the reactions to parry essentially on flash, or parry on red, you can't, and you have 800 MS heavy openers. If you've been hit by a light attack to start off with, you can basically be completely safe against this guy's chain finger quotes pressure. Doesn't work if you've got 900 MS heavies like this, like Medjay's staff sides. Like if I do it on the side, well, I'm showing it on heavy, doesn't work. But if I go like, because your 900 MS side heavies are too slow, you won't be able to ever beat. You'll get mullied by that. But yeah, if you're playing most characters have 800 MS heavy openers. So if you do, after a light attack, this guy has no pressure at all. You just parry on flash, and not flash, parry on red, and then you will be ready to feint to block a heavy, and there's nothing this guy can do. You can also could also let you block feint to lights as well. So if I go the same, I'll do the same thing. Yeah, unless you can't parry 500 lights on reaction, which is a possibility. I can't really myself. But yeah. So it's one of these things that this is, if you have the reactions to it, the character in staff mode has very little offense. I do find that you can occasionally switch if you have like a moment to change up your it's better than you might think, on account of you can be spending most of a duel in axe mode and then suddenly switch to staff mode, and then like your timings will slightly change and you can mess up your opponent a little bit that way. But most of the time you will want to stay in axe mode when you're in 1v1, and in team fights you'll want to be using your staff mode to hit people around you, and you just won't be able to initiate because you have normal lights. And I mean, the other thing is you use dodge attacks off target or your zone attack, but if your opponents are paying attention, they can counter that quite easily as well.
Yeah, these slow heavies right now, people fail the parry timing, right? Or they block even at the wrong timing, but give it just a week and everyone is used to it. So the heavies will get worse over time.
Yeah. Something, if you do run into people who dodge chain lights, so it only really applies, after a blocked. Like I say, if you run, some players, you know how it is that you can dodge chain lights to avoid light spam, as it were. Well, because his heavies are so slow, and they have really big hitboxes, you can catch them with that. But again, this is only going to work against players who struggle with 500 MS light attacks. So most of the time, you don't really want to be using staff mode for any kind of 1v1 combat. You will have a bad time, unfortunately. Because yes, after the main, people have been wanting, and what I hoped for when I saw the hero is that you'd be able to staff switch and then go into your chain attacks. But unfortunately, you just do the neutrals. Even after recovery cancels or anything, you're always going to go into your neutral attacks, which is disappointing personally. But yeah, what can you do? All right, let me invite you, Freeze, and we'll go and show off some team fighty stuff. connect. Are you in game, Freeze?
Hang on.
Okay.
Should be, but that game's been running for a while.
That's all right. No worries.
A
I
little
just had
laggy.
my thing wasn't showing up people who were. I'd filtered it. Blah, blah, blah. It's all good. All good. Hey, all right. Let's go into a custom match. We'll put on feats as well, so we can talk about those. No pots. Thank you very much. Just go gear perks off. Oh, I put gear perks on. Meh, whatever.
I mean, all we have is the fast running one, right?
Yeah. Okay, I'll keep it on that case, so we can get there when we when you can respawn and run fast. Respawn speed fast. There we go. That should be enough. Selection.
But no, I mean, Crouch is right. The character is not great. I think in general, I hate when like on day one, everyone just, oh, this is shit, and then just don't explore anymore. I hate that when within half an hour, everyone fortified their opinion and that's it. I'm not a fan of that. Yeah, I mean, the overall opinion obviously is correct, but just make it a little more nuanced, if possible.
Stag, do you want to be the ganky or the ganker? You haven't had much chance to practice them, but all right. I'll go ganky. Okay, all right. You go on the attackers in that case, and me and Freeze will gank you. He does have decent mid clear. That is true. He's got very, very big hitboxes on his heavies, so he can hit a lot of minions around him.
Somebody with regenerate.
Yeah. Sorry, don't think about that. Yeah, so go to your Black Prior, for example. Well, that'll do. Oh yeah, you can sort of rush, so you can get there even faster. Nice.
I know that.
And yeah, well, this is one of these characters that are going to be. He definitely will struggle at the top level because of how he lacks openers and chain pressure. At the casual level, I think he's going to do better because against most players, 500 S lights kind of work. So you won't have too much trouble.
Yeah, you'll do just fine in matchmaking.
Yeah, in matchmaking it'll be fine. I think, but you will definitely feel that he doesn't have much in the way of flow. I think that's something that you will notice straight away. I had tried to like.
You'll also struggle a lot if you're a duels player. I don't think.
Well, if you're duels, yeah, if you're a duels player, you're just going to use the axe mode, and you won't use the soft mode at all.
But the axe mode's just not great, is it?
Yeah. All right. So I guess we can talk. We'll talk his feats first. We'll start at the beginning. Makes sense. So this character is all about duality, and his feats are all about duality as well. So, actually, can you see? Do the icons have that little slash in the middle? They do, don't they? Even when you're on your phone, you can see that the icons are split into two, and basically the tier 1s are triggered by kills, the tier 2s triggered by bashes, and then the rest are active feats. So I'm just going to kill Stag because basically the tier 1's activated by kills. You get a kill in staff mode. You can see now that my shoulders have this little glowing thing.
They can't see.
They can't see. Okay, well, I mean, they could see briefly while Stag was arriving, but when he gets back here, you'll be able to see him. You'll be able to see. There we go. Nicely done. You can see that I've got nice glowing shoulder pads, and if you throw a top heavy at me now, Stag, you can see that he does less damage. I've got 10% damage reduction essentially. So
and that one lasts until you die.
Until I die, yeah. So you have a permanent buff once you get a kill in staff mode, and there's an equivalent buff for axe mode. So and now when Stag gets back here, he will see that my hands are glowing as well as my shoulders, and I have a little sword icon on my health bar, and I now have an attack buff, which also does 10% damage. So if I throw a top heavy now, we do 27 damage. Is that 10% or? It's just rounding up. That's why. Okay, so yeah, you get 10% damage buff, which is it's not inconsiderable for your entire life. If you get these two things, it's going to give you significant advantage because, well, those are like overall that's like a 20% difference in damage in like health differential.
Here's a fun little thing. If you want the buff for a different weapon and you ledge somebody, for example, you know how you have like 2 seconds until the kill actually counts? You can just switch stance while the person is falling to whatever stance you want the buff from.
Yeah, go on, Freeze. You would do it because I got my buffs already.
Yeah, I can throw him down. Unlock, and now I got the defense buff despite me throwing him with axes.
Yeah. I wonder if you could do the same thing with the tier 4, but I mean, like, potentially.
Yes, people were able to see a lot. But now, when you come back, they see that after defense buff and not the attack buff.
Yeah, with the glowing shoulder crew over here. I mean, the glowing shoulders look quite nice, actually. I like that new effect as a defense. I wonder if they'll apply that to other people. Okay, so you've got your glowing. That's your tier 1. What are your tier 2s? Well, they're duality. So if I land the bash, you can see there's a debuff applied to Stag, which increases his damage taken by, I think it's 10%.
No, it's 20 as far as I know, right?
20? Okay.
Yeah, it's actually quite good, and it lasts 5 seconds.
Yeah, that's 5 seconds. All right, well, I'll do this, and then I will follow up with my would-be 30 damage chain heavy. Yeah, 41 damage on my chain heavy, because I've got the defense debuff and the attack buff. Whereas the attack mode, if you're in axe, the equivalent is instead a debuff that lowers your attack damage. So, and that lasts. Well, does that also last 5 seconds, or is it?
I don't know. That's what we were told. Hang on, do it again. Oh, we have no time.
Fine. I think that's 10 seconds. That
is it? No, hang on. It can't be 10 seconds. Right?
All right. Well, let's all count together. Well,
7 seconds.
7 seconds. That seemed longer to me.
5, yeah, but which I guess intended to be 5, and
well, it makes sense that it lasts a little bit longer because obviously it requires an attack debuff that only lasts like a fraction of a second. Wouldn't be very good because you're going to be hit stun from it. Maybe it's not getting caught by it, so it's the react. So only the timer only starts while the hit reaction or something. Anyway, it's a nifty little buff. I don't think the axe one is nearly as useful as the staff one because realistically, when you are throwing attacks out in chain, like I'm in chain. I've landed my bash. Now I'm like, when is Stag gonna? He won't immediately be attacking me again. So the actual duration of that attack debuff is kind of, well, it doesn't make a huge amount of sense to me. But
yeah, it's also a lot easier to land the axe bash compared.
Oh yeah, you're right. That's a good point. Is the axe bash lands very easily in onesies, so that's all good. Right, and then the tier 3, which for some reason mine is not on cooldown. Can you hit me with a heavy, Stag? I wonder if it's just like being.
You need to be damaged to be able to use it.
Yeah. How strange.
No, a second one is exactly the same.
Is it the same?
Yeah.
Ah. Well, fair enough. Anyway, how much health have you got, Freeze, over there?
I'm full.
You're full. Okay. Well, let's do it. Stag, you damage Freeze a little bit. All right. So as you can see, I will now use my tier 3 in staff mode. Boop. Nice little heal. I think it's only 15.
Yeah, it's 15.
15 health that it heals.
Yeah,
but it's got a decent radius. It's like whatchamacface's a Griffin's tier 2.
The main use of it is basically to counter Fire Flask or Nail Bomb. You basically wait until like your teammate steps in or you step in and then cleanse all the bleeding and fire damage from it.
Yeah.
It is that. I mean, you're not gonna a 15 damage hell heal in the middle of a team fight is not gonna do wonders, right? You want to use it when you counter another tier 4.
Yeah, I mean, you have it as a tier 3, so you get it earlier. In theory, you can use it in a team fight. The cooldown's not very long on it. It's
2 minutes.
2 minutes, okay. Well, okay, the cooldown is not inconsiderable. But the other option you have is if you're in axe mode, go on smack mode the heavy again, stag, is that it's basically a second wind. So basically this feat is second wind and Griffin tier 2 in one, or I guess you could think of it as soothing mist and second wind all in one feat.
Yeah,
but
the recovery is significantly longer than second wind.
That is true. So
I mean that is a question from people, like if you're basically just going to use it for second wind, why would you ever pick second wind if you have second wind and the other one? So second wind is just significantly faster in terms of casting. I don't know how to call it, just using it.
Yeah, using it. I think they actually do call it cast speed. Yeah. So second wind, if you are only wanting to use the feats, is a better choice. And actually, this character does have second wind as his third choice for tier 3. But if you you lose the versatility. So I guess what his feats are kind of a trade-off of versatility for power, which is why each of them are a little bit weaker than you would expect for a comparable feat. So the tier 4, yes, that is the next one. Well, we'll start off with the staff mode. Boom, it's a bomb. It does. Well, it normally does 50 damage, except I've got the attack buff on me, so I did 55. The radius isn't massive; it's a little bit smaller than Fire Flask. I think the radius is about the same. Yeah, it's Lawbringer's bombs, about the same as that.
I think it's really bad, to be honest, for the tier 4.
Yeah,
the bomb is really bad. It takes too long to explode. Radius is small. Damage with 50 is.
It's basically Pugno Mortis as a tier 4. It's not bad. It does slightly more damage, but yeah. Well, it does more damage than Pugno, and I think it has about it looks to me to have the same explosion speed, but other than that, it's not great. I guess the upside of it is that you have an ability to clear minions quickly, and if you want to use your normal tier 4, it does outclass Slippery, it's true, and it outclasses his other tier 4 feats, which are Catapult and Arrow Strike. So regardless, you're going to be using this one, because who's using Catapult? And Arrow Strike. And his other tier 4 in Axe mode is this. That's like Yeet. You just very quickly throw your double 2 axes and do an ass load of damage. Yeah, it does 70 damage. It's not fun to be on the receiving end of. I think people will be annoyed by this. It's not quite one shot, but it is a better longbow, or better. Yeah, it's a more damaging longbow with this faster startup animation. Yeah, I guess like Zerka's hand axe, except does 3 times the damage of Zerka's hand axe, and it's on tier 4 cooldown. So I mean, overall, I don't think it's the most powerful tier 4. Even the axe one, it does a lot of damage, but I don't think it's actually that amazing.
Cooldown is 3 minutes, by the way.
Yeah, so it's like standard tier 4 cooldowns.
Yeah,
it's fast.
I think the axe is way better than the bomb.
Oh, definitely. It's not like super powerful, but this is the kind of, if you're in a 1v1 situation and you're fighting and then you mix up and you feint into the axe throw, that's going to hit most people.
And just to explain, because if you're out of luck, you are in stealth mode. which means if you activate your tier 4, while out of lock, you will always pick the bomb. You cannot throw the axe while out of lock because you need to be in lock, in axe mode, and only then can you throw those axes. They are always from in lock. So you will not throw these axes across the map.
Which I guess is a good thing for people who don't like getting sniped across the map. It does make it less
kind of risky to use it across the map, right?
Yeah, but I mean, even so, you can often with longbow, even if you can shoot, even if it's not like across the map, it's still within like the target locking on distance. That's normally going to hit if your opponent's not aware of it. And it doesn't have that. You do have to be within lock on range, which is comparatively smaller.
Just use it to nuke a priority target in team fights.
Yeah, anybody who's holding revenge, nuke them. If you're in 1v1 and they're half health, yeet them. Especially with your damage buff, it does about half the health of the opponent, or more than half the health of most opponents. So yeah, it's all right. It's nothing amazing. It is quite annoying. So I think you're going to see a lot of complaints about it. But I mean, sometimes you need to nuke minions and want to clear minions. So sometimes using the bomb is all right. Yeah, it is basically exactly the same as Lawbringer's bomb. It's just there's only one of them. I think this feat could quite easily be on a lower cooldown and have it available more frequently, and that would be make it probably about what it should be. But then that would mean people throwing the axes around more, which is something I don't actually really want. So I'm not going to suggest that. All right, let's talk ganks. So as you've seen, he has a ganking move. This called Throne Room Clutch, and it applies a debuff, making it quite strong at potentially as a ganking move. But how does he set it up? Freeze, do you want to take over this section and talk about it?
I mean, how do I start it? How do I set it up? Because you cannot counter Gobrick for it. You know, a lot of people have seen probably Raider or BP how they set up the unblockables just by counter Gobrick. But these are 800, 900 MS moves. But this one is 1000 MS, 100 from the dodge and 900 from the grab. So if Spaniard guard breaks for me, I will just be too slow. Like Stag will be able to dodge it. Just counter guard break Stag and then dodge it. Yeah.
Oh, you just said
counter guard break and then dodge. He's not counter guard break.
I think he must have gone AFK or something because
maybe.
That's right, no worries. I think that's a good demonstration that it bounces off guard break stun, which is or just say counter guard break and my guard break's being super fast. Like do a normal counter guard break. There we go.
And dodge that.
Yeah.
Oh, why'd I catch that?
It looked like it was an early dodge.
Yeah.
Yeah, he might have dodged into him or something like that.
Yeah,
it's quite hard.
You can't set it up with a counter guard break.
I mean, the only way you could do it maybe is if I see you forward dodging and then guard break.
Yeah, but I hate that. I just hate that whole premise. It's way too volatile. You basically just need to. I don't know how to put it. The other person just doesn't need to do anything. Like you need to rely on your opponent just standing still, right? It's too much.
Yeah, but I mean, realistically, if he, you're not gonna pre-dodge this bash. I don't know. I think you probably can confirm it with like things like if I see you dodging, I can light attack, for example. When if I see freeze dodge and then that might work. I don't know. It's a bit of a. It's certainly not. You can't set it up in the same way as you would set up, even Goki Hug, for example. But
Goki Hug is another one of these examples you just get from a counter guard break, right?
Yeah, you can do Goki Hug counter guard break. But
can you bash for it actually? Can you go axe mode and bash for me?
Yeah, sure.
Go ahead. Okay, that was really early. Hang on, let's try again. Hell no. No.
I think not from this bash anyway. I think you will be able. You would a bash like this. This bash only has 700 ms hits done. I think
So
quite low.
things
but
like JJ would work, you say?
JJ or Shinobi kick.
I mean, yeah, Shinobi is
Well, yeah,
obviously.
Shinobi's gonna work. So yeah, and as you can see, something I'd actually want to try. If Freeze, you go, just land. Well, then we're gonna pretend that you've landed. Oh no, we'll talk one more thing about how to best land it would be if off a heavy parry or something like that. So
Yeah, just throw a heavy at me, Stag.
I was too slow on that. I mean that works well though.
Way too early.
And I was too fast. Yeah, basically you want to your ally needs to. I was thinking that maybe I'd do the one because if I do the
Sure. Go.
you might know the timing better than I do. But essentially, especially because this character's got slow heavies, his open heavies slow.
Oh, I'm too early.
Oh, I think it worked. So yeah, that's how you want to do it. Add damage to your allies' punishes, and then let them use the in-chain version of the bash.
We can also show the Goki version. You can always non-stop hog with Goki just by pressing heavy light, the heavy lands of it, and because you can't dodge a light after a landed heavy, means that the opponent cannot dodge away from the bash. So if one of these lands, we can do that. You want to do the heavies?
I'll do the bashing, and then you can do the.
Okay.
All right, so just let this bash hit you. So that's the
you can just infinite that thing basically, and Stack could have popped Revenge at the end.
Yeah, he could have the last one, but it does.
Oh, you were both of them dodges, yeah. But no, it just shows because, like I said, you cannot dodge the light after a heavy, and the light just puts block stun on him, which automatically guarantees the grab them.
Yeah, I think with I'm not sure we'll have to do it with this character because he's got. All right, we'll try it anyway. Freeze, you throw a bash and do another one. I'm going to try and land the chain heavy, and then that has heavy hit stun, so it might be able to confirm your next bash.
Okay. Oh yeah.
Yeah, tricky with this one because the only way to go into that quickly is the zone attack, and obviously I hit Stag the second time, but the first time you saw it work, and a character like with heavy hit stun that's more accessible, for example, Jianhu can backstep light into his finisher heavy, and that will allow you to confirm the next bash without having to do the light attack in between, which feeds less revenge.
Exactly.
But it's a little bit trickier to do. You need to have an attack with heavy hit stun essentially, which are not that common to have. You can see them in the info hub though, and look out for them, and you'll find them. All right. So then we talked ganks, we've talked feats, we've talked his 1v1 moveset. Do you want to talk anything else about anything else that we think we've not covered on him yet?
No, from his moveset, we're good. I think we've shown everything.
Yeah. I guess we can go and you can go have a look. Let's go and show his minion clear, I guess. If we want to be really thorough, we can wander down there.
It's really easy. It's just light into heavy, right?
Yeah.
You want to do it? It's basically because he keeps throwing side ones. It's really easy. You don't even need to. With Shaolin, for example, you need it. What is it? You need to start with the light, right?
Yeah. I think if you were to start with the heavy, it has the same out.
Oh, does it now? Okay. But no, he throws his out of luck sides always.
Yeah.
On the side, he doesn't throw random top attacks.
Yeah, so no worry about that. Even just two, and the zone is very cheap as well, so that's nice. It's only 27 over the zone. And this character is very much a team fighting character in staff form. His zone has a really nice hitbox. It goes all the way around him.
Yeah, works too green.
So yeah, you can zone light, zone light heavy, that kind of thing. And this character, yeah, he does have good hit in staff mode. I think that's the main thing he's got. Well, the only really thing he's got going from him is really good hitboxes. He's got long range on his lights as well. So his light Kensei, you can kind of peel for your allies from quite a long way away.
I didn't even notice it as that long. Yeah, good call.
And of course, he's got enhanced lights, so you can, if you're in chain, you can switch around and lock people down in the team fight by heavying and then switching to an enhanced light to put someone in block stun and that kind of thing. So you can basically, I mean, you can essentially keep two people in combat with you, even if they don't want to be in combat with you for some reason, for whatever reason. But if they start, like, they stop and stare and try and gank you that way, you're gonna have a bad time because you have nothing unreactable to force pressure. You just have to rely on zone and lights to interrupt, and hope people are greedy, and then you can go for trades with your big heavies. But
I just hope that they position correctly so you can select targets and only hit one of them, and always guarantee your attacks aren't parryable. But if the opponent's positioned correctly and closer together, this is a lot harder for you.
yeah.
But other than that, Spaniard just put it nicely because you have nothing to pressure them with, especially in staff form. And trying to hit multiple people in axe form is also not really great.
Oh yeah. You basically, if you're in team fights, do not use the axe form. Like, you can use it in a gank, but you cannot use it in team form. It has 0 hitboxes, 0 range on anything. Like, if I backstep light, that whiffs in his face. The Unblockable Heavy has very low range as well. It has nothing in the external hitboxes. You can hit somebody externally if they're standing.
On the side, your attack comes from.
Yeah,
so
but like
at the beginning of the swing, you have one, but like the end of the swing, like some attacks that have another 90 degrees to the side, that's just not his attacks.
Yeah.
It looks like he swings it out another 45 degrees or something. The unblockable.
Yeah.
Throw it out, but see that has no hitbox on the side.
Yeah. It doesn't have it. You have in axe mode, you have smaller hitboxes than the weapon looks like, and it has no tracking either. So
yeah, I mean that kind of segues into the whole thing, right?
Yeah,
we have 2 modes. Neither of them are S tier. Like axe is not S tier in ones, not even A tier. Staff is not S or A tier in team fights. It's all right. So you have 2 forms that work all right. Nothing crazy. And that is ultimately his downfall.
Yeah. So yeah, because I think if he could switch stances, that would actually make him quite good. It would, well, if he could switch stances in chain, then he would be better in both modes because he'd be able to
like big hyper armor heavy into a 500 ms boost, right?
Yeah, or he could if it counted as like heavy attack,
just in quick.
So you could go into your chain lights or into heavy finishes, then the stance switch would work quite well. Or if his chain heavies in axe form were different, like unblockable, for example, instead of just being neutral and have no see there, rubbish hitboxes. Yeah, no tracking. So the axe form is just 1v1 form, and also similarly, it's your offensive form essentially, but you cannot use it in team fights, and you can't use it if you're being ganked because you have no way to hit external opponents with it. It's just not going to happen. So yeah,
because to anti-gank, right, you need to put both people into hit or block stun. Otherwise, if you just hit the one, the other person is free to do to you whatever they want.
Yeah,
and you don't want that. And with his axe form basically having no hitboxes whatsoever, you basically serve up yourself on a silver platter.
Yeah, so
he doesn't have the recovery cancels from Zerka that just dodges around like crazy, right?
Or Zerka has small hitboxes, but he can always trade with you, whereas this guy can't.
Armor and recovery cancels. Yeah, it just shows the, like we said, it's a kind of meh mode for onesies.
He's a meh Zerker and meh Raider, I guess, or meh Kensei. I think in team fights he plays
He's actually quite close to Kensei, I'd say.
Yeah, because you have your big dodge attack, which has great hitbox, and then you have a really big hyper armored heavy afterwards. Okay. All right, Freeze, you can take the reins. My wife is asking me to remove a spider from the back. From where is the spider?
You slay the critter.
All right, I need to go and be a hero.
Yeah,
I'm doing it.
See, now I don't know what to talk about. I mean, duality of the stances. Yeah, I don't know what to talk about, to be honest. Do we do because even the stance switching? I think if we actually made it viable, if I hit him and then switch the stances, right? That's a recovery cancel. We know that, but it's still slower than a normal recovery. So even if I wanted to attack afterwards, they need to hide the whole stance switch. That's the only way I think they could make these flowing hero, because we need to get rid of the animation completely. Otherwise, you cannot chain properly. That is exactly the point. It would confuse people.
I don't know. You have the faster switch when you are.
Yeah, but it's still slow, that switch, right? You can probably still be interrupted. By a lot of things, and if you want to chain properly, you need that frame advantage non-stop. But to keep that frame advantage, you can't just mindlessly speed up that switch animation, because it would just look silly at a certain point. So you simply need to hide it, right?
Yeah, I mean, but the switch has quite a lot of. Yeah, the primary switch is 700.
This is 700, yes. And from a Parry, give me a heavy. That is 466, I say, right?
Yeah, 466, yeah.
That actually feels nice and fast after a Parry.
It's also, if you lock on as well, and if you go from being unlocked and then immediately switch, that is also pretty fast. I think that might also be the same.
Yeah.
And you can see
that
when
does feel nice, but yeah. But
when he does his axe stance, he kind of twirls the axes afterwards, right? And when he does the staff one, he kind of stops and then switches his guard.
I mean,
I feel
hang on. When you switch, you have that orange glow on the weapon, right?
Yeah.
Or pink glow, whatever it is. I don't know. If you just hide that, the whole animation would make the weapon glow to indicate the switch in chain. I would eliminate the confusion factor.
Yeah, I mean, I think you still could get away with.
I mean, I don't know what the number is that we need to make it viable for in-chain switching.
Yeah.
What is it, like 300?
I think.
I mean, that is the maximum we'd have, right? Chain links of 400 are unusable, right? So we need to have. Do we have a 400 ms chain link?
That doesn't get
Zhanhu, right? Light too heavy.
Zhanhu's is 300.
Was it 3? No, that doesn't sound right. We have a couple 300, and not all of them are so susceptible.
Yeah, but then
so we need to we need an end,
right?
an end swing animation. You can't just hit and immediately switch. You need a little bit of an end swing, and then it automatically cuts down to maximum of 300 ms of animation, which needs to go into the new animation. So you need a transition there too. So that is at least 100 again. So you need to put the switch animation into a 200 ms one.
Possibly.
Is that not? Maybe I'm just thinking it might look silly at one point.
So we talk about the chain links, that how important they are to be faster. The reason that Zhanhu's has a 300 ms chain link is really bad is because his finisher heavies are 900 ms. They're slow as fuck. But this guy's finisher heavies are 800 ms. So in theory, you could have a 400 ms. If he had a 366 ms chain link, that would still not be interruptible because his chain finishers are 800 mess. I
Yes,
mean, the same.
correct.
Even if you're going to go into your neutral attacks, the neutral's 700, so they can get away with a smaller one. Although, like I said, switching to the neutral stances had no properties is not really doing anything. So it would be better if it goes stance. And the same with you could have. He's got 400 ms chain lights in staff mode. So if they switch to his chain, if it followed the same chaining rules as the bash, and switched to a light attack, went to his light attack, or went to his heavy attacks on hit, and the chain heavies weren't as crap, then I think you could get away with having a longer switch. And then with the staff mode, because you have hyper armor on your attacks in staff, it doesn't really matter to have how
on
much.
it doesn't really matter. You're not running into the problem of being interrupted, right?
Yeah.
Unless it's so slow that you get bashed out of it.
Yeah, but I think would be pretty unlikely. So another option would be, I don't know, if they like the animation for switching to the axes has him kind of like twirl his axes around.
Yeah, I feel like yeah, exactly. Like the switch to staff is a lot easier to hide because it just puts it together, right? It doesn't need anything else but the twirling of the axes. Just get rid of one of the two twirls, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, that's what
I think it's also because of the pink glow. You could, in theory, hide it completely.
Yeah, but that will look bad. I think the thing is that
would it really?
Well, like if you go from just like attack immediately afterwards,
I don't know.
I don't know. I think if you were to do it,
the thing is, I'm not sure whether we'd need a transition animation for every single possible chain, because that would just make this.
You probably would really
unfeasible.
Yeah, you probably would. And that's why they'd probably have it. I mean, the other option would be to have his staff's changes to have a particular animation and have something that can make them a bit safer. So, you know, like if it had full block, for example,
it can't be that bad actually.
But if you go from that, so if Stag goes
because the switch
goes me a heavy parry, and then I go into this axe for lights ring pull. That's pretty fast, right?
It is, yeah.
And he only does one twirl.
So we don't even need, because so we can't get rid of the animation because that requires new animations basically.
Yeah.
So we need to have these two stance switch animations just either be cut down or sped up. So because we have the 466 one already.
Yeah. Well, I feel like if
how much you think can you cut off? Because I think the 1-2 staff can cut off a shit ton. Because that one actually.
I mean, honestly, I
think it's the axe one that's the problem.
If they put the 466 one from the parry on, or from the unlock and that one.
I mean, the unlock one has no animation.
No, but when you relock and then axe stance, that's faster as well.
Yeah, but that's a different animation.
No, but when you're in staff and then you lock on and you switch to axe, that has a faster switch.
Yes.
So I haven't done that one, but I think it's the same as the parry one.
You think we're just making a bigger deal out of it than it actually is?
Yeah, I think put the parry one, the 466 one, recovery cancel to 466, and then have it chain into his, instead of like neutral attacks, go into a chain attack, which I think is possible. Then I think it will be. I think it'll be fine. But yeah, until then, not fine. Whilst we're here, I guess we can cover a couple of the other changes that are in the patch notes. The most important one, which you'll notice.
I wanna hang on while we have him here. Helm Splitter. I want to see that. I haven't had a chance to. No, target swap the Helm Splitter. Look at that. Look at it.
They finally did it. This is one of the changes. Warlord can target switch Helm Splitter, and he won't sticky target.
How late can you do it?
I think looks like the entire time he's dodging.
Yeah, looks good.
It's good. That's good.
Very nice. Thank you. I was a little overexcited there for a second.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's pretty good for Warlord. Something else, the biggest global change is that we'll put yourself out of stamina, Stag. Just like throw heavies until you get out of stamina.
And
if you take damage when you're on the floor, you will get your stamina back.
No, that is actually incorrect. Do it again and do not attack him on the floor.
Oh. Ha! Oh, God, throw it again. Throw it again.
Do nothing.
Nope. It's when you get up.
On wake up, he gets his stamina back. He doesn't even need to take damage. So they showed it a little weird on the stream.
Okay. Well, yeah. Well, I was saying that the different. Yeah, when you get up, you get your stamina back essentially, which does mean if you do, go and do it again. Do it a few times, I guess. Oh, why am I doing that?
I don't know. I'm doing it too. But yeah, the moment he wakes up, falls down. You don't even need to take damage, so you can only get thrown down once.
Yeah. And you can also, we can't show it with this character because none of us have stamina pause, but you can no longer pause somebody's stamina if they're out of stamina. Well, Yorm's max punish is still the same, right?
Yeah, I think it's.
I don't know actually.
It is gladiators that is no longer possible. You know, when you throw someone, then side dodge, light into skewer, because the moment the other person stands up, his stamina is back, and you can't skewer throw him again.
Yeah. And Yorm's, you're right. Yorm's corner infinite, where he could light bash forever.
Oh yeah, the corner infinite. You're right. Correct.
That's gone as well. So, although, yeah, I mean, presumably we haven't checked it, so maybe there's some other Yorm weirdness that's possible.
I'm sure George.
You're right. I think his max punish probably have changed as well, because now he won't. If the opponent is standing.
Oh yeah, because they stand up. You know exactly the side dodge light, finish a heavy, knocks them down again. Yeah, that is actually not possible anymore. You are correct.
Well, because it normally hits you in the 100 ms after you've stood up, but before your guard comes back.
Yeah, these are true. Good call. I'm gonna record this then.
So, Yorm max punish gone. Yorm nerfs. Maybe that means they'll be reworking him soon. Cope.
No, I'm sure they will.
Yeah, he's
same
got
as
to be
Musha,
on the radar, right? There's no way he's not on the radar. They, I'm sure he'll be coming soon.
Yeah, same as Lawbringer.
Well, yeah, you're right. Lawbringer with his a lot of his pressure when you're outstanding came from stun, keeping you on the ground. So
yeah, but I mean, they still put you. I guess okay, but you still just getting knocked down once with a Lawbringer near and getting stunned out the arse is still not great, right?
I mean, I think it's
just
can't
better. Do it twice. Oh yeah, definitely.
Feels better. Like you're not going to be, and you won't have the scenario like you're back prior, and you're going to be just like bashed over and over again when you're out of stamina, which was horrible. And they kept it whilst also keeping stamina pause on the attacks that. So they removed stamina pause on out of stamina opponents, but you can still stamina pause regular attacks when you're a regular opponent. So in a way that aspect is still there. You can still keep someone at low stamina, for example, or pressure their stamina a bit if they're low stamina without. So I think it's an elegant change. It's removed the worst part of it, the most unpleasant part of it, and
I think it's a surprising change, to be honest. I didn't expect that one.
Yeah, I didn't expect that either. Yeah. But yeah, I think it's probably indication that a Yorm rework is coming soon because, well, yeah, it does really wreck the character. Well, I mean, I don't know. Yorm was always meant to be about getting them out of stamina and then punishing them when they are out of stamina, not keeping them out of stamina forever. And whilst he does have some punishes based upon that, that's not really his main game plan, as it were. Other changes in the patch notes. What else have we got, Stag? You've got you said Stag has them up. You'll stick them up now for us.
Stealth nerf.
Oh yeah, stealth is nerfed. Projectile feats. If you were thinking you were going to be able to use stealth to avoid to avoid the axe yeet, well, have I got some bad news for you, son?
Actually, we can show something real quick. Stack, come with me.
Oh, my controller's disconnected. Oh my god. Okay.
Stand at the edge, at the ledge there. Yeah. I will throw my tier 4 bomb at you, and you will dodge. Previously, if you dodged, my bomb would go all the way down the cliff, right? Because of the aiming system. So, just dodge it now. Just coming. Just dodge it. See? It went directly at his feet. So, the new targeting is always at the position your target was. So, it doesn't fly further.
Raven Flask,
Raven Flask.
thing of the past, yeah.
But yeah.
Although we'll see, we have yet to see if this will have any other unintended side effects, like maybe throwing it into the floor when you're lower down, like if I'm down here.
We tested that. Stack, come here. Spaniard, stand where I am. Is your tier 4, Spaniard?
It is, yeah.
Okay, then Stack will just basically just stand here, run away, and run up the stairs. And while you run up the stairs, Spaniard will throw the tier 4 axe at you.
Okay. 1 second. I'm not in stance mode yet. Okay. Right. 3. Oh yeah. Freeze gives a countdown.
Okay. Just 3, 2, 1. Yep. Still fucked.
Yeah.
The vertical thing is no. I'm just explaining that this is not fixed.
Well, I was meaning more like if Stag goes and stands a little bit further back. So Stag, you come and stand about here where this helmet is. Freeze, stand at the bottom of the stairs. And throw your tier 4 at him, so basically you can't see his feet. Okay. No, it does go as far as Stag and then drops down to his feet. It doesn't aim directly at his feet. So, yeah. That's going to make it nicer. The
position has been, like, the moment I throw it, the game knows where it's supposed to land, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't.
Nice. God,
but yeah, that is nice.
Sorry, controller keeps disconnecting. And the other thing that was meant to be changed but doesn't seem to be is Shinobi's the out of lock, for crying out loud. Sorry, my controller's just dying on me.
Yeah, it's still possible, by the way. The out of lock punish.
Yeah. Well, that's right. We don't need to show the patch notes on the screen. We can just talk about them, I guess. A lot of the things have been. I guess we can switch over to whatever. There's been some things which are clearly meant to fix the out of lock punishes. Well, let's switch over and we'll bring them in and we'll show that. We'll do the same thing. We'll just pick different characters.
No, tell him I need to do the unlock one.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll try.
You can try.
Because it is with an unlock I normally don't use. Took me a couple of tries to get. I'll try.
I will go
I'll do Shinbok then. And we can do stealth.
Yeah, you can show stealth as well. So yeah,
you can pick Orochi or something with multiple feats.
I was going to show Aramusha actually, but there's an issue.
Aramusha, yeah, sure, that works too.
Yeah, I'll go. Okay, so I'll go Aramusha. I'll take a.
Your system fixed itself. That's good.
A nice change. Doesn't always happen. Do you want to hop? Which side do you want to go in? Stag. It's all right. We'll show the patch notes.
Doesn't matter actually.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll just start in that case. We'll find out. I'm gonna go Aramusha.
You need ranged feats.
Yeah.
You have ranged feats on you?
I got flaming arrows.
That's good.
I'll do. So actually, what I do want to see is if stealth means you can't.
You can pick. Yeah, sure, stealth.
Yeah, I guess you can go whoever. So normally stealth means the projectiles can't lock onto you full stop. But I'm interested to see if stealth means you won't be able to lock on like long range projectiles will still be able to lock onto you, like because obviously if they that could be like I don't know if it's just when it's in lock or if it's also when you're just in
I've
general.
not tried that, but yeah, stealth is dead in my opinion. It's
Stealth. That's
useless.
Yeah, the main use for stealth was essentially breaking ranged feats, and that is now gone. To be fair, it was a very bullshit use, so it's kind of good that it's gone. And I guess stealth does still hide you from the minimap, and it means you won't see the opponent's lock on things quite as much.
I'm actually curious. I need to make a YouTube poll about that. How many people actually look up the minimap?
It still makes out of lock projectiles not be able to lock onto you. I am now free aiming a projectile, and it's not locked onto you. And you can see this. Wait, go.
Oh, is it not locking up?
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Oh, interesting.
I tried to light attack the minion, and instead I shot the ground. But whilst we're here, we can show something that is which is here. If you want to throw me a heavy attack.
Oh. Yes, that indeed.
Now recovery cancel back the light. Oh, not that one. You can recovery cancel back into blade blockade after the light blade blockade punish, so you can get it off in a team fight and then use it again.
Yeah. And another change: you heavy after the counter guard break. Okay.
Yep.
This has now been fixed.
Yep. All right, so I can show the flaming arrows again. I will. Freezer's got stealth. Oh, he's on stag. Stag can walk sideways, as this would normally beat my longbow, and now it's not going to.
Yes.
But it didn't lock onto you when we can show you that when it comes back. If I'm out of lock, it still seemed to stealth still seemed to work. Oh, great. So actually, in that case, that's good. That's kind of what I thought it wasn't going to do, but would be a good mid ground. It means you can't be auto-targeted by feats when you're out of lock, which I think is really good, actually. So stealth isn't fully dead. The rumors of its death were greatly exaggerated. It's still going to.
I think it's still pretty dead.
I mean, it's a little bit dead. It's a little bit dead, but this is definitely going to.
Usually, the characters that have stealth have better options, right?
Yes, they do normally, like bounty hunter or something else. But so here, I will, like right now, I would not normally be able to miss longbow on you guys if you didn't move, but as you can see, it wasn't locked on.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool. Stealth not completely dead. If you're climbing up a ladder, for example, it's just not going to help you if you're locked onto your opponent. So it's going to help with those off-screen longbows, just not from the longbow of the person who's looking at you. So that's something. Well, yeah, bounty hunter's still a better choice regardless. But is there anybody who has stealth but doesn't have a good, like another good tier 1 to use?
I mean, Shaman has the bomb.
Oh, she's got traps, hasn't she? That's kind of good.
Yeah, traps. That's right.
Yeah, it still hides your health bar from pretty much any, like, except for the really, really close lock-on, so that's kind of useful, I guess. Hides you from mini-maps. Yeah, it just doesn't break projectile tracking when you're right up close, which is good.
All right. You want to test the unlock then? It might take me a few tries.
Oh, yeah, okay. So
give me a top attack. Yeah.
Oh, I need to actually parry that.
I just fainted that shit. Alright, go ahead. Hang on, is that... Yeah, it is working.
So you need to unlock and relock during the...
Yeah, the thing is, I need to unlock with sprint, which I'm not doing normally. I do not unlock with sprint. So it's a completely new, I don't know, muscle memory for me to acquire. It might take me a few tries. Yeah, go ahead. Why am I not unlocking? What? I'm not pressing it. Go ahead. Nope.
Yeah, I mean, the input probably
takes me way too long. Yeah, go.
A lot trickier than before.
There we go.
Yeah, you did it.
Yeah, and it is powerful now. No, it's not guaranteed.
Oh, okay.
I think the relocking adds another 100 MS or some shit, so it's no longer guaranteed. The side ones are blockable and the top ones are parryable now.
Oh, well, that's all right then. In that case,
Yeah, it is all right. So I don't know how about with the skewer, but I don't know. I can't do the skewer.
Skewer was super tight anyway, so
yeah, it was. So it's just Shinobi now, and it is no longer guaranteed, but it is still possible.
Okay, well, it not being guaranteed, it kind of makes it okay. I guess. I thought it was still going to be guaranteed if you. Well, it might be. There might be a timing where you can, if you relock and unlock and relock fast enough, that it is still guaranteed.
Yeah, I tried like 20 against the bot, and the bot parried them all.
Oh, fair enough. Weirdly, so... then I saw Senka do it, and the bot not parry.
No, the bot parried too.
No, he landed one.
Clip. He did.
He parried one, but he landed another one. He's got a clip of him landing it.
Okay.
I mean, it's Senka, so who knows what he can do to the game. He manages to break it and his own perceptions of the game quite easily every now and again. All right. Well, I think that is. I mean, it's quite a short dojo today. If people find out new Medjay tips and tricks, maybe we'll make another one. But I doubt it. I think he's likely to be targeted for some improvements. So we'll see if he gets
in his current state he
there's one more thing. We forgot one thing.
What?
Which is I'll go out and bring us in again. Which is using the recovery cancel to beat guard break attempts, dodge guard break on your
the bush.
On your bush, yeah. So we'll just do that one again quickly.
But yeah, like we were saying, in this current state, you won't see him at the top level, not picked at all. I mean, anybody who tuned into stream today from the top players, they were really down on the hero and massively complaining. But I think the weird thing is the hero grows on you a little for the first 2 days, I'd say, but he's still...
Yeah, for me it's been like the opposite, though. I
don't know, it was weird.
It doesn't really matter.
You're just dodging my...
Somebody without a dodge bash, I guess, so like...
No, you're just a normal side dodge GB character.
Oh, well...
Not one.
It's alright, it's fine,
Okay. But yeah, the thing is, I fear that people are now saying, "Oh, finally a balanced hero."
Well,
I mean, I've already seen it, which just is so sad. And they're going to be massively pushing against buffs again, right?
I don't know. I feel like the things that would buff the hero would be, well, they can improve the tracking and hitboxes of his axe form attacks, which I think is fair enough. I think that would be fairly uncontroversial, especially if they just make it so that his axe form attacks are like they're just harder to dodge. If the tracking of the chain of the chain heavies and axes was improved, I think that would help considerably. And it wouldn't be like massive. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Okay. So Frieza. Well, you do it
against you. I thought against. Okay. Yeah.
I'll do it against you, and you can.
No, it's fine. It's just because Stag is the one streaming. That's why it's easier to see.
All right. Well, anyway, here. So normally that is. Oh yeah. Can you see Stag? That's a good point. So normally that is Guard Vulnerable. It's got quite a long recovery. What,
1100? Yes.
Yeah. But if you cancel into stat, weirdly, normally.
No, it doesn't show all the time. Just spam it. Yeah, now I see axe. Yeah. That's why I showed it with the controller on the thing.
Yeah, try it on Stag in that case. Just Stag will have to delay his dodge guard break. I mean, to be honest, that'll be fine because it's.
See, that's guaranteed now. And if I stance switch. Oh, interesting.
Hello.
There we go.
There you go. Maybe it was a really early one.
Yeah, maybe it does really early. There we go. I mean, you see my stance switch by the pink glow, right?
Yeah. So that is currently you're able to protect yourself from guard break that way, but you're still going to lose a dodge attacks, and I guess it doesn't give you a punish. It's not like chaining into heavy where you can get a punish off it. And I think really that's it for. Sorry about forgetting a Medjay thing and bringing it back later on. Oh well, the little tip for any of you who watched all the way through to the end. Thank you very much for joining us. So on
Indeed.
Sunday, we're going to be doing another dojo, which is going to be specifically for. Oh, hey, humanist. Hello. It's going to be specifically for new players. So like new players, there's a free week going on at the moment. If you introduce your friends to VonHonor, bring them to the dojo, and we will teach them what we can. We're going to be It'll be focusing on stuff for really new players who just picked up the game. So yeah. Come along, it should be fun. And we'll do some probably more practicey type sessions as well. It'll be less just talky. All right. Unless there's anything else you want to follow up with, Freeze, or
No, I'm good. I'm good. I mean, the character's gonna start a lot of debates, how he should have been, what should have been done, and all that. There's a lot of theory crafting that can be done, but more on that over the next few weeks, I say.
Yeah,
in the end, Ubisoft needs to respond to it, or just say no, the character's fine for now. We're going to focus on something else.
I just hope that they do it something quickly to him, and it's not Jan who kind of state. Because really, I feel like if they improve the axe tracking on the axes, and let you immediately chain, like the recovery cancel switch was faster and chained into his chain heavies, like the bashes do, then I think that would be enough to make the character worthwhile. Maybe not amazing, but like just being able to switch after, just being able to recovery cancel after a chain, like an axe attack into a big hyper armored heavy, would make him much better in duels, and also would allow, and being able to switch from staff attacks into an axe attack that actually is like, threatening.
It would actually be weird timings which catch random dodge attacks and all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, we'd also need to test them. Maybe it's just too vulnerable at certain chains that just are unusable and be limited to like 2, basically. You can only switch from axe to the hyper armor heavy or something like that. But we're not sure. But it's definitely worth a try, in my opinion. And
I'd say they take the chain axe heavies, improve the tracking, and make them unblockable as well. So you can go like light unblockable. Improve the tracking a little bit, so they're not going to miss everybody. Maybe like better forward tracking. Oh, my controls died again! Crying out loud. And then make the regular switch, the recovery cancel switch into the parry one, and chain into chain heavies like the bashes, and then I think the character will be actually good. Looking at trying to hit stag with external.
But if I throw it the other way around, it's really sad.
It's very sad. So
my character, my weapon is inside him, right?
Yeah. I mean, that shouldn't be a thing on any character. I understand they wanted to make the character not like, they want the axe to be a 1v1 specialist and not a team fighting thing. But I mean, I don't think that's got an excuse really. Like, you can't. I think that whole philosophy of making a character that is
holy, I have never. Oh my god! Did you see that?
I did. I did.
Okay, now it's
working. Just about. Okay. Yeah, that's not. Yeah, I think this whole philosophy of making a character that is the stance mode is only for 1v1s and the other one's only for team fights just doesn't work, because
how the fuck is that allowed? And I haven't even tested that.
Yeah, that's pathetic.
Wow, okay, that shouldn't be a thing. I didn't realize it was that bad. The dodge attack.
Oh yeah, they're
holy shit.
They're like, they're just like a line in front of the character when it attacks, and it's rubbish. Like, and I guess they.
So this one will hit them. No.
Right here.
Okay, that one is really just. You hit
It's
in front
literally
of
just
you, is
if you are directly in front of the character, it will hit you, and that is the only way it'll hit
There
you.
we
And that's
go.
pretty much the case with all of his attacks.
Okay,
Like-
that is pathetic. Yeah, I didn't realize it was that bad.
Yeah,
I
You
only
can-
tested like the staff dodge attacks, but that dodge attack is holy fuck.
Yeah, you can. I think dead angle with them though. With the chain lights potentially. If you want to try that.
Okay.
Get the dodge attack to hit.
Oh, wrong one. I need to look onto it.
Oh no, the chain link's so trap. That was guaranteed.
I don't know. No, I think the chain link is too bad.
Yeah, the chain link's pretty terrible on them.
And with the hitbox being so bad.
Yes, you're right. It's not like it's going to
Like
be.
you probably need to be positioned within like a 10-degree angle or something to even have a chance. But yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, those hitboxes are terrible.
Yeah,
See, that was nice.
The staff hitboxes are incredible though. They're so good. It's just he has no pressure in the form, so he needs to have. You can't have one that is. You can't have a team fighting character that has no offense, because then they're crap at team fighting, because you need to attack as part of team fighting eventually. And you can't have like your offensive form have nothing in the way of hitboxes, because then you can't use it if you want to be attacking. I don't know.
The thing is, if you make highly specialized stances, right? Or this is the team fighting stance, this is the dual stance. But then have both of them be mediocre because you're scared to have to be ST in that niche, right? That just doesn't work. Like the whole concept from ground up is just doomed to fail. Just make them really good then. Just make it amazing in onesies and make it amazing in team fights. Just, I don't know. It's
but then the problem is that if you make it amazing,
the problem is he just fulfills too many roles, right? I can understand that too. It's just a doomed premise.
Yeah, which is why I think they can only make it. The only way to it is, instead of making like they're both incredibly good at their specific roles, make it so you can switch between them, like speedily enough that they are both that the weaknesses of one cover is covered by the strengths
they
of the other.
Complement each other basically.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not like there are so many stance switching characters in For Honor that we need to have a stance switcher that is just one or just the other. Like that doesn't seem to me. I was joking in one of the no, his stuff is not good for dueling. Like
no, it really isn't. Because I mean, it's just your slow heavies and 500 MS lights, right? That's what you have. You have nothing else. The bash is not usable in ones, so
it's you can't use it in ones. Like
you can't be interrupted if you fight somebody not being able to react to 500 MS lights and the person likes interrupting you, well then just go ahead, use stuff. You're gonna have a good time.
I've lost my train of thought now, but
we do. No, let's just call it. I mean, we've just been going on. We can't ramble another half hour.
I do ramble. Oh yeah, that was what I was going to say. Is that we kind of said that the staff switching in combat is a bit like picking a different character in TF2 or Overwatch, because you have to die and respawn to actually do it, because you're so vulnerable when you switch stances. Anyway, enough of that nonsense. Have a good one, everybody. We'll see you on Sunday. Bring your friends, because it's a new player week, new player who dis. Thanks for sticking around. Listen to us ramble around for almost 2 hours. Oh my god. And bye.
Have a good one. Bye bye.